Good morning, master traders and money magnets. The breakdown of the bear flag is leading to a very nice gap down. If you are a bear, you probably have a very big smile on your face right now, and you deserve it. You deserve it, okay? And if you're a bull, well, the best thing I can say to you guys is, try not to call a bottom and wait for the right setup, which Uncle is going to talk about in this morning's video. Uh, yeah, gap down after a big body red candle. We gotta be careful when we see gap downs after a big body red candle. Great for swing trading for a day maybe, but we gotta be careful. Like if today ends up being a gap down and it chops, because we gotta watch that. It could be like a morning star pattern, which is the opposite of an evening star pattern. Morning star patterns usually is a 3 candle pattern. Usually starts with a big body red candle. The second candle is a gap down with a doji. And then the third candle would be a big body green candle back to the upside. So that's just something that we really need to be careful for. Okay, the market makers, they love getting us extra excited. Nothing wrong with being bearish right now, because it is bearish, but you just something to keep in mind. Yeah, we're gapping down. Uncle has a fib level of 552, and then I got some new fib levels this morning, and I have one at from March 13th low 549.68. Those are your two resistant levels right now. We're gapping down below those two resistant levels. As long as below 549.6 and 552 highest, I would be favoring more downside. And if we can recapture those levels, then maybe we can get a bounce. Okay, if this ends up being a morning star pattern and today ends up being a choppy day, just ain't nothing wrong with sitting on the sidelines, okay, waiting for a better position, okay. And there's no guarantee there's gonna be a morning star pattern, okay. Much like what happened between Wednesday to Friday, get a big body red candle followed by a gap down doji. It was just a cool down day followed by more downside. We can also get one of those situations as well. Either way, we need to know both case scenarios and what levels needs to clear or recapture for us to react, okay? So we'll start with the bear case scenario, since everything seems bearish right now. Gap down, as long as below 549.6 and 552 highest, like I said earlier, I am bearish. I would favor more downside. Next support's at 548, and then I have a fib level support at 545.5. Okay, with volatility here, if there's still today, hopefully, we should be able to break those support levels to hit that next fib level. 548 should send us down to 545.5 with 543.3 below 542 and 539.5-ish below that. Okay, those are the targets that I have to the downside if we can break down more support levels, starting with 548 and trying to stay below those fib level resistance that I mentioned. Okay, now if we already get a bounce, as usual, we need the false breakdown setup to try to put the odds in our favor. No guaranteed, but the idea is to try to put the odds in our favor when we're making a trading decision. So if we are going to try to play some counter trend move or try to play the reversal, because when we get downtrends like these, short squeeze do happen and they're very violent. So if you want to play something like that, you need a false breakdown setup to trigger it. Okay, so 549.6 and 552 must recapture to put 555 in play. Okay, go for that gap fill. Then I have a fib level around 556.4. If we are to be bullish and get a bounce going, those levels must recapture to send us higher back to 549, 560.8 or higher. Where are my moving averages? The 200 is all the way up 574 plus. Where's my 20? Yeah, the 20 as of right now is 567.3. That's from Friday though. So turn on your moving averages. They're going to update this morning, likely sloping down, especially that 20 daily moving average. If we're going to get bullish, those moving averages must recapture to give us signs that we are going to turn over back into bullishness. Okay, but Overall, guys, stay bearish below 549.6 and 552 highest. Triple Q also broke down his bear flag, gapping down as well. To avoid a chop day and give us more bearishness, next fib level supports at 460. If it breaks down 558, 556, 554, 552.8 or lower incoming. Okay, guys. If 460 does hold as support, as usual, we trust no bounce unless it can recapture some lost levels. And above 460, I have 461.5, 463, 465. I have a fib level at 466.4, 468, and 470. These levels must recapture if we are to get a bounce, all right? If 460 truly defends as support, 461.5 and 463 must recapture to start off some type of bounce, all right? But if we lose 460, more downside incoming. Tesla looked like it might be trying a gap down, and it's looking like a bearish island reversal. Okay, so stay bearish on Tesla as long as below 250. I wouldn't trust any bounce from this point unless it can try to recapture 250 to attempt the gap fill. If we can recapture 250, I do have targets at 255, 256.4, 258, and 260 plus. The gap fills around 264-ish. Okay, but stay bearish below 250. And if we break down more support levels, 247, 245, more downside incoming, 243, 241.5, 240, and the next fib level at 237 would all be in play. NVDA, looks like that M pattern is playing out, guys, okay? If it's time for a bounce, 104 needs to hold that support. 105.8 and 107 must clear to put 109, 111, and 113 or higher back in play. I would stay bearish though, as long as below 105.8. And if we break down 104, we'll drop it down lower. Okay. 102, 100, 97.8, 96, 94.2 or lower would be targets that I have for NVDA. Okay, guys. So let's go on to coin next. Coin's looking bearish as well. I have the next fib level at 166.7. If that level fails, guys, 165, 163, 161, 159.5 would all be targets that I have to the downside. If 166.7 truly defends, I need to see, as usual, resistant levels clear. 168, 170, 172, 174, and 176 are the levels that I'd be watching. If those levels can recapture, I would trust more of a bounce, okay? False breakdown setups is what you need, bulls. Don't try to call a bottom unless we get that setup, all right? It's not guaranteed, but it'll put the odds in your favor. VIX, gap up. All right, gotta watch out if it's gonna be a doji today or it's gonna be a continuation. We'll see. But the resistance I have is at 24.3 and 25.5. If more upsides to be had, those resistance levels must clear to put 26.4, 27.3, 28.6, and 30 plus in play. I would trust the rejection from here if support at 22.5 and 20.8 fails. I would trust that we'll get a lower high if those support levels fail. All right, guys. So thank you guys so much for watching. It's Monday. It's a new week. Let's make history, guys. Money magnets. I'll see you guys later. Peace.